the podcast that is dedicated to what the people want. You guys tell me the topics, I talk about it, you guys give me the feedback. Let's go. What's good, everybody? How you doing? It is the first installation of the Well-Rounded Coaches Corner. I am your host, your owner and founder of Well-Rounded Consulting, Mr. Milton C. Spence III, very official name. And I have here today Miss Audrey Slade. Miss Slade is going to pretty much run down who she is, what she's all about. And I'm about to turn over the mic. So let's see what's going on. Miss Slade, the floor is yours.
Hey, hello everyone. Thank you for the introduction. My name is Audrey Slade. I am a personal coach, a development strategist, and an empowerment speaker. I work with clients one-on-one on a one-on-one basis, really to work on mindset and identify the challenges that people have that keep them stuck. I know a lot of people can relate to, feeling stuck in life, or what do I do, or I don't know what to do. I believe that a lot of that boils down to mindset, the things that we think about, the behaviors that we've picked up and things that we do habitually. And so I work with clients to figure out where they stand when it comes to certain subjects and how to get out of their own way, unlearn certain behaviors, rebuild new positive behaviors that support who they want to be. As a development specialist, I work with teams on different companies, corporations, team building, emotional intelligence, leadership development, things like that. I identify areas that professionals get stuck, whether it's communication, just learning how to be a leader and step into a leadership role. And I create programs and resources just to help them level up on a management level. And then empowerment speaking is something that I'm just passionate about doing. I love uplifting people, encouraging others, helping others see the divine light that they have in themselves and believe in their capabilities. And so that's another piece of what I do as well professionally.
Wow. So that is extremely in-depth and awesome. But what I really want to know, what I really want you to drive home for everybody is, who is Audrey and how did we get to this point, to all of those special categories of yourself?
How did I get to this point? I think that, I know for sure that there was a path, of course, that I thought I was going to take. When I went to high school and even through college, I studied mass communication. So I was into video production, film, radio, things like that. And I was very passionate about it for a long time. After I graduated school, I was doing that full time and learned that I had this passion for really helping people. I never really knew how fulfilling it was for me to help others. I took a role with Verizon, which traveled me around the country for quite some time. And that was my first time away from home and totally out of my comfort zone. And that was in 2013. And that's when I realized how people are drawn to me. And not just how people are drawn to me, but something about my energy makes people feel comfortable and vulnerable. And I would be in a small city somewhere in Michigan and meet somebody at a restaurant, and after 5 minutes, they're telling me their entire life story. And so after that happened, I continued to see those signs and just continued to be receptive of the way that people responded to me and the comfort level that people had with me. So that made me pay closer attention and kind of just see that as a gift. I'd always been like an advice giver for my friends, someone that people would always come to, but I just never really thought anything about it until I really recognized the way that I impact strangers, people who knew nothing about me, but again, had this level of comfort and just want this desire to just share things with me. So I considered for a while the path of becoming a life coach. It was never something that I saw myself doing, so I kind of struggled with whether it was something that I wanted to seriously pursue, but I continued to see signs. My life kind of just continued to guide me in that way. So in 2015, I pursued my coaching certification to become a certified life coach. So I've been coaching since 2015, going into my 5th year, which is crazy to say. And throughout all of that, shortly after I got my certification as a life coach, I picked up a job working for a behavioral, it's a marketing company, but they worked on behavior change. And so I was a manager who was hired to help drive this particular benefit towards living healthier. It was a tobacco-free campaign. And I worked with the managers on that team to develop them professionally, to help them be influencers and people in their community who could have a voice and, you know, build up this movement that we had going. And I did that for 3 years. And that actually relocated me from Atlanta to Los Angeles, California, where I currently reside. And the contract with that company, it was a government funded contract, and it ended in November. And so for the last few months, I've just been coaching, focusing primarily on my coaching, my speaking, and then extending myself as a development specialist when needed to different companies and teams.
Wow. So you've had quite a path to get to where you are. And what it sounded like to me is that it was something pulling at you versus something you're running towards. So tell us a little bit further, right? Let's just dive in a little bit now and find out exactly what it is that, you know, because I hear the jobs in between. I've always been a person I've been working since I was 13 years old. So I've held a full-time job since I was 13 until recently, right? So about a year and a half ago, I decided, I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna go full-time entrepreneur and see how this thing rolls for me. I'm rolling the dice. I have 2 kids and I'm married. So I'm like, man, it better work out. It better work out or else, right? So I decided to roll the dice, and here it is where I'm not gonna say I'm uber successful, but I am successful in my own right, okay? But the fact is, it's because things were pulling at me, and it goes deeper than that. So I don't like to focus on the jobs in between. I like to focus on what exactly was pulling me, what exactly am I doing now, where's that gonna take me? Talk to me a little bit about you though, and tell me what it is that you're offering, what it is that you're doing, and go in depth as far as what it is that Audrey is, what is further pulling you. Let's dive in, let's go ahead and go for it.
What is further pulling me, what really encourages me and what drives me when I coach and when I speak is the belief that we really do have the power to create the life that we want to create for ourselves. And it's something that I've practiced in my life for many, many years, and really witnessing the changes that I've had in myself, knowing where I came from and how much I've grown and the things that I've been able to create, the life that I live and the life that I've been able to create for myself using certain tools. You know, when I first learned how to do it, I wanted everybody to know. I wanted to bottle it up and give it to everybody. I want everyone to know the secret. I want everyone to know how to know how to practice and apply these tools to their own life. So that's really what drives me. And when I work with clients and, you know, we start at, you know, spot A, and we're able to, after a few sessions, uncover so many things and make so much progress with personal transformation. It's just really, really, really encouraging. It's like magic. I joke around with people, but it's really not magic. It really makes a lot of sense when you know how to do it and how to apply it. So that's really what drives me.
Awesome. But what is the it? What is the magic? What is the it that you're going for? What is it that you're really driving for with your clientele?
To help people understand the law of attraction. I think the key of it, the key to manifestation and the key to creating what we want deliberately lies within the law of attraction. So the coaching academy that I actually went through a year-long program. It actually taught me how to understand the law of attraction and how to teach others how to practice and understand the law of attraction. And utilizing those tools and teaching people to understand, that's the big piece, the law of attraction, and learning how to manifest, learning how to change your mindset and grow into the person that you want to be. That's the key. That's the magic.
Now, you say it's magic, but I know for sure it's not magic.
It's not.
Yeah, it takes some actual work to break through to people, especially in a society where we are more prone to have religious traditions and things that are standard, right? So when you talk law of attraction, sometimes that throws people off because you're not saying things that speak things that are not as if they are and things of that nature. So that throws people off. In a scientific aspect or in a spiritual aspect, let's talk about how the law of attraction that you're describing leads into that manifestation. Give me a little bit more on that.
Okay. All right. So law of attraction, manifestation, when I speak about energy and vibration, law of attraction, your mindset and manifestation, they're all connected. So I'm going to give you the rundown. It all starts with quantum physics. And I know that can be a little intimidating. I agree largely with what you said. You know, people hear law of attraction and they're kind of turned off. They don't really know how to receive it, especially when they have a religious background and religious beliefs in certain things. You know, they're grounded in one thing and they don't really know how to open themselves up to something else. So they don't know if that's okay. So the foundation of all of that is really quantum physics. So I'm going to give you a quick science lesson just to get us all on the same page. So quantum physics is the science behind science. Like quantum physics is the science that supports chemistry, biology, ecology, those types of things. And when we learned, well, I remember learning quantum physics basically presented as basic science in grade school. It's atoms, it's molecules, protons, electrons, right? So we learn in grade school that everything is matter. Do you remember learning that? Everything that takes up space is matter. Does that sound familiar? I know it was a long time ago.
No. It does sound very familiar. I'm with you. I'm with you.
Okay.
Right.
So everything is matter. Well, energy is matter. You remember Albert Einstein's that popular formula, E equals mc squared. That basically is the formula equating energy to matter. So if matter is everything and energy is matter, then energy is literally everything in our like in our space. Okay, so everything is made of energy. Everything is these molecules that are dancing and interacting and engaging with one another. So when you think about energy in terms of the universal, I guess, laws, energy can't be destroyed, if you remember that. So it's basically limitless. Okay, so we have energy, which is everything. We've acknowledged, we're on the same page. So our brains, just like a lot of powerful natural earth forces, operate using electricity. So that means in turn that our thoughts and our emotions give off a vibratory frequency. Does that make sense? You still
you're making sense. I'm riding with you.
Okay, all right. So that is what ties us to the law of attraction. Now, again, a lot of people, you kind of pointed this out, a lot of people think that the law of attraction is this alternative belief system. Like, oh, I believe in the universe, and, if I think happy thoughts, the universe will provide for me. And that's not what it is at all. The law of attraction is actually an extension of the science behind quantum physics. It's all about vibration and energy and how those things work together for us. So the law of attraction states that we get what we think about, basically. Excuse me. Law of attraction says that we get what we think about based on the principle that our ideas, our thoughts and our emotions are giving off this vibratory frequency. So when I talk about frequency, the easiest way that I know, the easiest example that I know to give people is using like a radio station, a radio dial. Okay. So if you tune your tuner to 93.3, you're going to receive what's being broadcast on 93.3. Right. If you're tuned into 101.9, that's what you're going to receive. You can't tune into 93.3 and expect to hear what's on another station. What is broadcast vibrationally is what on a vibrational energetic level comes back to you and matches you.
Right.
So okay.
What you put out is what you get back.
Exactly. So that's really what the law of attraction is stating. Mm-hmm. So the idea behind the law of attraction is that we can deliberately choose our thoughts. We can create our reality and attract the things that we want into our life by deliberately choosing our thoughts and making ourselves a vibrational match to what we want to attract.
Right.
So it's all about energy and it's all about vibration and frequency. And that idea is really what brings us to manifestation. So when you talk about manifesting, to manifest is really just to bring an idea or a thought and make it apparent to the senses. So manifestation is when you think something and then it happens, it comes to pass. You run into that person, you hear that music, you hear that particular song, you see that car, a thought becomes a thing. That's what manifestation is. And to make manifestation work for you, you have to kind of rewire and train your brain to focus on the things that you want. Everyone knows how to manifest. No one needs to be taught how to manifest. We're manifesting as we live every day. Whether we recognize it or not, we're getting the things that we think about. We're seeing the results of what we're thinking about. The key is to be intentional about what we're thinking, about the thoughts and the vibrations that we're putting out so that we're getting back what we want. So a lot of people, you know, they create by default. They're, instead of focusing on what they want, they're focusing on what's real, what's already existing. I talk to people who want to manifest more money, and they're like, well, I'm thinking about money. I'm thinking about this $1,000. Like, it's not here, so this must not be working. But the piece that's missing is understanding that it's the vibration that you're putting out. You're thinking about money, but you're putting out a vibration of lack because you're thinking about not having the money. You're thinking about needing it so badly, and that's a low vibration. So if you think about, I'm gonna use my sound effects here, and I'm gonna give an example of just a vibrational wave, because some people still might be a little confused. So
Okay.
vibration, I'm gonna start low and then I'm gonna get high, and then we'll talk about it, okay? So that's from low to high. So the low, slow frequency, that's what we're emitting when we feel like sadness or when we feel fear.
Okay.
That higher frequency is what that excited pitch, that's what we emit when we're happy, when we're excited. So a lot of times people are like, oh, good vibes only. First of all, vibes are short for vibration. Okay. So what they mean when they say that is a higher vibration. When people say, oh, vibrate higher, raise your vibration, they're talking about operating from that higher frequency so that you can then attract more of what matches that higher frequency, as opposed to vibrating low and slow and attracting the things that match that. Because on a vibrational level, according to physics and science, we're always going to attract what we vibrationally align with.
Right.
And then all of that kind of brings us around to mindset. When you think about when you're focused on intentionally choosing your thoughts, then we're talking about mindset. What are you consistently thinking? Like, what are the beliefs that you hold on a regular basis, and where do you settle there? And ultimately, that's where I come in as a coach when I'm working with my clients to understand where they are when it comes to their mindset. Like, where do you stand on a particular point of view? You know, do you have good feelings about this, or whenever this subject comes up, is it negative? And then we work on improving those feelings, so then you improve your vibration, and then you're improving your point of attraction.
Right. Okay.
That's kind of like the full story. I know it's a lot.
No, you're fine.
Okay.
I mean, I'm happy that you went into it in that aspect. That's because you know, some people like to say, what I put out is what I get back, instead of diving into those little intricacies as far as, what are you feeling when you hear this? What are you thinking when you see this? What is happening when you do this? You know, some people don't associate a lot of things to the root of their problem or the root of whatever they're feeling. They just kind of take it as, you know, it is what it is. It's just kind of how I feel. You know, it is what it is. You know, some people, even that I've heard, you know, or I've seen in certain situations, they get sad when they get around a certain family member, and they don't remember why or know why, but it's that family member who may have caused them some type of angst or caused them some type of trouble in the past, and now they don't understand, you know, why they have so much resentment towards this person. Or they get around new people, and that family member's traits are resembled in a new person. And now they're associating all of that into one. And like you said, now that vibration, quote unquote, is lower, right? And so that means that they're actually lessening what they can actually get back from that relationship. But that's a whole nother. I'll let you. Yeah. All right, so that is not only awesome, that's pretty freaking cool. That's, you know, quantum physics and all of this good stuff. I mean, I never heard that on here. I'm excited though. I'm excited.
Expanding your reach and your
concept. Oh my gosh, man! And quantum physics. I'm like, man, she's going okay. All right. So, Audrey, tell me something more. I want to hear about this. You're talking about the law of attraction. You're talking about manifesting, right? Mm-hmm. But let's dive a little bit further into that and find out what it takes, right? Because some people hear it and they think, I have to control my thoughts all the time, right? Mm-hmm. And I'll let you dive into that. Sorry, I was about to go into my
What were you going to say?
No. I was going to dive into mine. But I want to hear from you. How does one reach that level of not controlling their thoughts all the time, but being able to now answer that's the wrong word to use, or the wrong way to put it, but to be able to control their thoughts in that moment. How about that? Is that a little bit better? Yeah.
So controlling the thoughts moment to moment instead of like an overarching.
Oh yeah, because you'll find some people who are extremists and they'll be trying to control every thought and frustrated, and they'll be calling you and I can't do this.
It's a process. It's a process, and it takes practice. And that's what I tell my clients. We have to think of how long we've been feeding ourselves certain beliefs and ideas when it comes to certain things, how long we've been saying we can, or how long we've been having negative feelings about something. And it's challenging, I'll say, to just wake up one morning and decide that you're going to feel great about something that you felt bad about for years. So that's part of like the unlearning process. You really have to start where you are and identify where you are and figure out how to undo the thinking that you've thought for so long and replace those thoughts with more positive things that serve you. You have to decide the direction that you want to move in and consciously choose to move in that direction, even though it does take effort. We're human. And so there is always going to be something that throws us off, that triggers you to, be upset or be angry or be sad. And life happens. So, we can't expect to attain this vibrational state or this vibrational plane where nothing bothers us, where we're never going to be, affected or come into contact with things that we don't want. But when as you learn about yourself and as you put in the conscious effort to change your mind about certain things and move in a different direction, it gets easier. And something else about, I call it contrast. I call anything that is against what I want or is in opposition to what I want or what I'm focused on, I refer to that as contrast. So contrast, in a sense, is something, again, we're all going to experience because it's life. But I've learned to look at contrast to help me get more clarity about the things that I do want. So instead of looking at something that I don't like and focusing on that, I look at something that I don't like and I'm able to say, okay, well, this is what I don't want. What do I do want? And then I focus on what I do want. It's such a process. I will say that there's really no one thing that I can share or give to you that will make it like click and all make sense and all of a sudden you can control your thoughts. It begins with the desire and the commitment to just being aware of your thoughts. I've read a lot of books about like the brain and how our thoughts work and how our brains, it never stops generating thoughts for us. And a lot of times we get caught up in these thoughts because we hear these little voices and these things come across our minds and we identify with them. We feel like, oh, because I'm thinking it, this must be how I feel. And that's not always the case. Your brain is going to go nonstop, and it's really up to you, the individual, to determine which thoughts you're going to listen to, which thoughts you're going to push out, what you're going to feed into, what you're going to give energy to, and, use what you've selected to move forward. So it's a process of a lot of different elements of unlearning and like relearning and focusing on yourself.
And teach me something. Why is it like somebody like yourself would even want to dive into this, considering that for a fact the human mind is a maze within itself, and the normal human being or the everyday person is out here like, my mind is just kind of what it is. Why would you want to dive into this and try to attract people to come work with you? Why would you want to do that?
Why am I interested in helping other people? Like, am I interested in diving into it for others, or what prompted me to dive into it like for myself?
Both. Why are you choosing to go this route? Because like I said, I'm very assumptive in certain things, right? So I figure if you're diving into this to do it for others, then you must be doing it for yourself. I mean, most people would think that. Right? So I'm like, she must be doing it for herself. So I'm like, what makes you want to do this? Because I have people ask me, I'll just tell you why. I ask the question. I have people ask me all the time, what makes you want to do this for me? Because I go beyond just hey, let's talk and whatever. You go beyond that. So they're like, what makes you want to do this for me? And I'm always telling them my stories and telling them why I'm doing it for myself. And because of the fact I know it works. But I want to hear from you though, not just what's your motivation, because everybody wants to know the motivation, but why is it that you really want to dive into this, understanding that it's a forever learning process?
My personal journey started when I recognized that there were things that I wanted to change about myself. I wasn't unhappy with myself, but I recognized that I could be happier. I felt like there was a point in my life where I've always been a nice person, I think, but I definitely had an attitude and I had a temper. And I have this one particular story. I had an incident in the post office with the clerk who was helping me at the post office, and it blew up and I lost my temper really bad. And that was a real turning point for me to just do some self-reflection, like, sis, why are you so angry? You know what I mean? Like, get to the bottom of what that was. And so I kind of began my own like spiritual journey, figuring out the way that I fit into the world and the way that I react to certain things, and just becoming more aware of myself. And then I started reading about the law of attraction. And it's something that I had heard about before, but I'd never really put effort into applying it. And so since I was on this journey of becoming happier and doing things a certain way, little by little, I began kind of implementing these little practices in my life, and I began to see positive changes. And it's one of those things where it's like, if you see something working, you're gonna continue doing it. You know, when you know better, you do better. And so the momentum just kind of picked up for me. And when I really started recognizing huge shifts in my life, the first people that I tried to reach out to were like my friends and my immediate family. So I'm telling my parents, my mom, my dad, my brothers, my close friends, I'm like, look, this is what you need to do. Y'all need to read this book. You need to start doing this, this, and this, and this. But they weren't really hearing me. You know, a lot of people, they're grounded. I made this point earlier. We were kind of set in our ways. We have our own belief systems and we have our own modes of operation. So even though I was super excited about it, no one was really like, all right, Audrey, you got the key. So I think that inspired me to find other people who were kind of on the same path as me, so I could have those connections and conversations, because that's super important. I feel like on any journey that you're on, you know, having people that you're aligned with, having that support is important. And so I found myself kind of reaching out for that and finding other individuals and groups of people who I could talk to about the law of attraction and talk about what we've manifested and things like that. And the more that I just saw the power that it brought into my life, and again, it was more of a push for me than it was me opening myself up to being of service to people. I just continued to have experiences and continued to run into people that made it very evident to me that my purpose is intertwined with a role of service to help other people. I ran from it for over a year. I was just like, no, I don't really think this is for me, but life just really just kept putting it in front of me over and over and over again. And when I started having these conversations with other people, when I decided to become a coach and extend myself to help other people grow and learn, things in my life just escalated even more. It's just, you know, the good that you put out, I feel that energy, again, that vibration that you carry is something that's gonna come back and match you no matter what. And so I practiced it for myself initially, and then when I lended myself to others, I recognized that things just continue to expand, and so I just continue to ride the wave. And you know, here I am 5 years later, just always looking for an opportunity to share a message or to help someone, to help them think about something a little differently, tap into a deeper part of themselves, you know, be a confidant, be an accountability partner, whatever someone needs for their personal growth. It's very fulfilling for me to play a role in that. I feel honored to be able to help people in the way that I do.
So you really have a drive, not just for self, but for helping others. Although you tried to run from it, you couldn't because of the fact it's pulling at you. It is something that you're meant to do versus something that you're just trying to do or trying your hand at. And that's more commendable than anything. I've always been one to say, follow your dreams. You know, it sounds very cliche. It sounds very, whatever the case may be, but I've always been that person to say that. And that's because of the fact it is a very true thing. Some people have dreams that they don't know how to follow or commit to. But I wanted to ask you, what keeps you committed? Why are you so committed? You know, why are you so into it, right? Because it's one of those things that could be taxing when you take on other people and you love on other people the way you're doing. What keeps Audrey committed?
I have honestly never done more fulfilling work I have never, and I've had a lot of jobs, I've done a lot of things, I work with a lot of different people, but the feeling that I get when I work with someone and I know that through me working with them, they've opened up or they've reached a different level of life, or they were able to put something down that they were carrying with them forever that was heavy, that they were able to break through and believe in themselves and open themselves up to new opportunity. It is the most fulfilling thing that I have ever done. When I get off of a call with a client, I'm so full, my energy is so high. It makes me feel better than anything that I've ever done. And I can't say that I necessarily expected that to be the outcome, but I've learned so much about myself through making myself available and servicing others the way that I do. And it makes me happy. And that's what pushes me. I feel that I am blessed and rewarded in a sense because I am walking my path and being of service to others and helping other people grow.
And that's awesome. The fact that you have a position where you can not just lend yourself to, but like I keep saying, pulls at you. It's not something that you could choose to run away from it, but you would only be doing those who miss you or who need you a disservice versus yourself. And you'd be hurting yourself a lot, because of the fact you're not doing exactly what's pulling at you. So I want to know from you, you have started a coaching business, obviously. What are your goals for it, and what are your goals for it? What are the ultimate things you want to do with your business, and how do you want to expand?
I want to reach as many people as possible. I want to use my coaching platform to support other people in their personal pursuit towards happiness and fulfillment and joy. As far as expansion when it comes to my business, the sky is the limit. I, of course, have, visions of myself working with hundreds of thousands of people and speaking, using my voice to speak to hundreds and thousands of people. It's kind of hard to explain. It's kind of hard to put into words the goal, I guess. And there's really no end goal. For as long as I'm able to, through any platform that I'm able to, I just want to continue to use my voice and use my message to help and to reach others. Now I have goals of, participating in podcasts and different avenues that I can take in order to do that. But my ultimate goal is just being heard as much as I can and connecting with people on a level that they've never opened themselves up to be connected with before.
That's a beautiful goal. I'll share one with you for myself. One of my goals for my business, for Well-Rounded Consulting, I have two businesses. One of the goals for Well-Rounded Consulting is to finish my book. That's one of the goals that I have. And the reason I have that goal is because it's been a goal for 7 years. And I've gotten to a point now where I'm like, you know what? I preach dedication, I preach commitment. It's time for me to start following up on that. I can't use excuses anymore. I can't use the I'm busy. I can't use the I'm tired. I can't use the but my kids. I can't use the I'll get to it tomorrow. I can't use those things anymore because, like you, it's constantly pulling at me. And I believe wholeheartedly, it's funny. Like you say, there's no end goal, right? What I've felt for some time now is that the book is a springboard for me versus something that I'll be doing, right? As a goal. It's a springboard. So I've always challenged any person who's, I don't know, how long have you owned your business? That's one question I didn't ask you.
The business officially, I kind of relaunched because right after I got my certification is when I got the job and then relocated to Los Angeles. So I was doing it part-time. So the business has been in place for about 3 years, but full-time, I'm focusing on it full-time now just for the last 4 months with no distractions.
Awesome. So I've always said, to any business owner that I know, find, as far as expansion, right? Find those things that honestly pull at you, because you can, I could take Well-Rounded Consulting and do stuff, just because it says consultant, I could just do a whole bunch of stuff, right? but am I really doing it, like to the fullest, or am I just kind of playing around with it? You know what I mean? So I've always said, do the things that pull at you, do the things that you honestly want to do. And if it seems like a ridiculous idea, do it, because that's the thing that you should definitely be doing, because everything around you is literally in a place where if you're a copycat, nobody wants to hear it anymore. Everybody's tuned to things, especially with the fact that we have information right here at our fingertips. I mean, think about it. Before, this was instant messenger, right? Now we're able to do videos and all kinds of things, and rip the audio from this and do podcasts and all of these things. I mean, we literally have access to each other so much more, to the point where if we're not using these platforms, especially yourself as a coach and things of that nature, as a life coach, manifestation coach, you have so many different things that you're doing, right? Quantum physics coach. But somebody like yourself who is really in this position to reach hundreds and thousands, millions of people, using every tool at your beck and call. I mean, think about the possibilities, right? Use your mind to really expand that. Put out that high vibration, right? Look.
Yeah, you getting it. Catch a Malingo.
Yeah, I caught it. Okay, so 4 months you've been dedicated, been fully in, right? Had it for over 3 years, and I know what that feels like. You had it, you worked for other people, and man, I really want to get this thing rolling. Now that you have it rolling and you're 4 months in, talk to me a little bit about the challenges, right, that you face. What have you had to do in order to keep those vibrations high?
I think honestly, my biggest challenges have been getting out of my own way. I'm human. I have, my doubts about certain things, or an idea that I'll have, and I'm like, oh, I don't know if I should see this through, or I don't know if people will be receptive. Or even when it comes down to being consistent with the content that I share online, that's something that it's funny, because I talk to people and they're like, oh, I love your content. I love the things that you share. It took so long for me to feel comfortable in utilizing just a video platform. And I mean, I went to school for it. I'm not necessarily camera shy, but it was just like taking that leap and putting yourself out there, even though I have all the tools and I believe in myself, just battling that self-doubt. And I used to be, I won't say I am anymore. I used to be a perfectionist. So I really used to obsess about everything. And I didn't want to move forward with something unless I knew that it was perfect. And over time, I've learned that there's no such thing as perfection, and that as long as I'm moving forward, I can always, come back, and I can always update things. I can always update a website, or re-record a video, or, reshare information. There's always opportunity to grow on something, but you have to start it first. And so pushing myself outside of my comfort zone has been one of the most incredible things that I've done. It makes me really proud of myself, and it encourages me to continue to push forward. Once I do something that I once had resistance about, or that I once was a little nervous to do, and then I do it and it thrives, and I'm able to see it be successful. I learn from that, and I just use that to keep my momentum pushing forward, pushing past the self-doubt, pushing past the fear and the hesitation to do certain things that might be different. Or, just being in this field, not necessarily the field, but I think with my niche being mindset and law of attraction, again, that's something that people kind of shy away from. And so being authentic is super important to me. I've studied a lot of people and followed a lot of people who are doing similar things, but it's always been important for me to bring authenticity to what I do, and the way that I present myself, and the way that I engage with the people that I work with. And so being true to myself is also something that it wasn't necessarily a challenge. I guess I just had to kind of figure out how to find my own wave in order to ride it. But being able to do that and being supported, again, it just continues to fuel me forward and encourage me to just keep going and keep trying things.
Well, I want to encourage you as well and let you know that, it's not just that you have a solid platform. It's not just, those things. It's the times when you're alone, when you really, really have to hone in to what you're doing, right? You have to make that decision and make that choice and say, you know what? I have nothing to lose if I give 110%. You have nothing to lose, because think about it this way, and this may be a different way of looking at things, but this is how I look at it, right? I've seen death many times in my life, sadly. People I love, people who are very close to me, people who I've known, seen them pass and go away. And a lot of times they left things undone, okay? And I realized something in those moments. I'm like, dang, what if they would have just given themselves 100%, 200% to that thing or those ideas or those things they wanted to do, instead of leaving it in a diary, right? For me to read, and that's fine, but they left it. They left it here and it's undone. What could have been done here on this earth? What mark could have been left? It's not about being a celebrity, but it's about what mark could have been left. What person missed something because you didn't give 100%. So when you have an idea, I have many, trust me, many ideas. And I tell you the truth, I go ahead and I go for them. And the reason is because I've learned something about taking steps. I will not know if the step will work if I don't take it. If it doesn't work, like you said, I can always do like this. And that's it for that step. If it's working, guess what? We ride the wave. We go ahead and go forward. We keep going. When I was working, and I was working in sales, I was making a lot of money in sales, right? And I started to realize, like, dang, I could do this on my own. So I stepped out and I was like, I don't know how to get it done, but I'm gonna try this. I'm gonna open up my own. I started with one, then I got contacted for the second business to add on, then the third, the fourth. I got contacted the other day to add on some other stuff. And it's just like, I'm just gonna keep riding this. And it's not that I'm riding it like, oh, I'm just chilling. I'm actually putting in work. All right, so once we get off of here, I'm going to put in work. This is not the end for me, right? So I'm going to encourage you, like, go for it. Don't worry about, because I'm gonna tell you the truth. I go down to many networking events and conferences down here in South Florida. I'm down here in South Florida. Miami is party city, right? But I go to it's a lot of business down here as well. I go to a lot of conferences and stuff, and you wouldn't, well, maybe you could, but you wouldn't believe how many people I meet who are a coach or a consultant by title, right? Your ideas, the things that are unique to you, it's not about just setting you apart. It's about putting you into a position where you are the one who's doing it. And there is only one person that can do it. The rest of us will be imitators. Oh man, that's a good idea. I like what she did. And we just imitated you at that point. But you can be the original. It's not that everybody has to know you're the original, but you know you're the original because you're the one that stepped out and did it. And sometimes that's what it takes. It took one person to create one vehicle. Now everybody has a car. Or now there's trains everywhere. It just took one person to do it. We don't always know who the originator was. But for goodness sakes, we're benefiting from it. So do it. Just do it. And don't worry about it. Just go for it. You might look crazy. That's fine. That's fine. Everybody look crazy in there every now and again. But that's okay. Because even if you look at things in a quantum physics aspect, atoms and things, it looks psycho. It's like, what is going on here? But if you start to break it down and understand, you really start to understand, man, there's a lot of order in this chaos. This is crazy, So yeah, that's just my little word for you. But either way.
I will see that. Thank you.
Oh yeah, for sure. Now, I want to hear from you. How do we get in touch with you? Tell us a little bit about your websites. I've been on them. They're cool, man. I was like, man, this is a freaking awesome website.
Thank you.
Tell us about your website. Tell us about how to get on your IG, your Facebook, whatever. Tell us how to get in touch with you.
My website is audreyslade.com. Very simple. AUDREYSLAD as in David E.com. You can find me on Instagram. It's XO_Slade. That's my Instagram handle. And on Facebook, it's Audrey Slade as well. Just my first name, last name. I'm most active on Instagram. Instagram is the easiest for me with my schedule being however it is. I can pick up the phone, record a short video, participate. I host Manifestation Mondays every Monday, where I encourage people on both platforms of Instagram and Facebook to share with me the things that they're focused on, what they want to manifest into their lives, and kind of create this community of support and just positivity, which I really, really enjoy, and that's growing. So if you're on Facebook or Instagram, absolutely participate in my Manifestation Mondays. But yeah, that's how you find me.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. First and foremost, I'm going to personally, I know I've thanked you off, but I want to thank you here while we're live and just tell you I really appreciate the fact that you gave me the opportunity to not just bring you on, but to grace us with your presence and to grace us with your story. And not just that, but to highlight, exactly who you are and what you are. I appreciate it. I pray that everybody's listening definitely appreciates it. And I definitely want to tell you thank you. And I'm humbled that you allowed me to have you on.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I mean, I told you I appreciate you even reaching out and offering this opportunity to me. This is great. And I just, I look forward to seeing more work that you've done and that you're doing. We just got to continue to inspire and encourage and uplift one another. That's how we keep this thing going. So thank you very much.
No, of course, sure thing. And the biggest thing is, like I said, from the beginning, Audrey Slade, #1 manifestation, quantum physics, everything coach that you can think of, man. Make sure that you reach out to her, and not just reach out, even if you just need a little word of encouragement or something of that nature, please get in touch with her. Hit her in the DM, slide in there, keep it appropriate, keep it all the way live. But most of all, participate in the Manifestation Mondays. I read them, I like the stories, and I love your responses to them. They're always fun. And I think I'm gonna put my manifestation on there, what I want to do for my Manifestation Monday.
Do it.
But either way, man, this is Milton Spence III signing off for our first installment of the Coach's Corner for 2020. I'm excited to have this guest, and I know for a fact this show is going to boom this year. We're rocking, we're rolling. Thank you for everybody listening all over the world. Appreciate you.